Hello and welcome to Escaping Kasterborous, the podcast where we rewatch, reminisce and review everything Doctor Who from 2005 to present. My name is Rich and I'm joined by the one woman who can fit a compact laser deluxe in most of her holes, Amy.
Aww.
Funnily enough, last week for Boomtown I made another joke about your orifices, so that's 2 weeks in a row where I've talked about your bum, your nose, your other places.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm so thrilled to be a part of this.
Thank you, everyone, for your fantastic responses to lunch, dinner, egg from last week.
I've forgotten about that.
Yeah, I've had a lot of tweets. People saying that it just comes back to them and they start laughing to themselves. So the official t-shirt of the Escaping Kasterborous podcast, lunch, dinner, egg, will be available. Probably never.
Fantastic.
Welcome to episode 12, Bad Wolf.
God.
We don't need to tell you where the Bad Wolf reference is because it's right there in the flipping title. This aired on the 11th of June 2005. This is the penultimate episode of the series. Also the penultimate episode of this series of the podcast as well, because we've decided next week we're going to be doing the discussion for the parting of the ways and then our series discussion overall straight after, because this is a two-part episode and we said from here on out we're going to do two parts episodes together, starting with series 2. So we're going to kind of sort of step in that direction, transition it better for y'all listening when it comes to series 2. But for now, I'm going to be very, very strange. I'm gonna jump straight past the episode, ignore everything. We're gonna talk about the next time. Because the Daleks are here. Surprise! You didn't know that because they didn't show it last week in the next time, did they? You silly sausages. Those moments when they like briefly tease the Daleks with the Dalek's eye and the reflection of the Dalek's bumps behind the controller, like that was all really good. And it would have been so much more like mind-blowing if they hadn't shown it the next time. Admittedly, it's different for us because we've seen that episode a million times already.
But that's not the point, though.
Yeah, exactly.
The next time just kind of trampled
The next time for this is still exciting because you get the big booming voice at the end. They survived through me. And you get all of that stuff. But the reason why I want to talk about this now first is because I was watching that next time and I'm like, this is it. This is Eccleston's last episode.
No.
Except it's not. Because, and I've had people tweet me about this as well. I was tweeting about it a lot on Sunday because, oh my goodness me, Christopher Eccleston, the 9th Doctor himself, the man who's been away from Doctor Who for 15 years due to his crappy experiences back in 2004 and 5, is coming back to Doctor Who. We applaud it. We're applauding. We're going to applaud him. Chris, if you're listening, we love you.
This is for
Please,
you.
can I interview you or something? Hi. Because he totally listens to this podcast. Maybe he does. Maybe he's listened to this and that's made him think, do you know what? Yeah, screw it. Let's go back.
That was it.
I would try and take claim for that. But yeah, he's coming back to Big Finish to do 12 audio dramas starting next year, or they're releasing next year.
Oh, 12?
12 audio dramas. They're in 4 volumes, starting in, I think it's like May, June, August. Not May, June, August. It's like May, August, December, May or something, like 21 to 22.
Right.
Or something along those lines. So he's coming back to do that. And literally today I recorded and edited a video regarding that, which you will get tomorrow if you're listening to this on launch day for the podcast for this, which will be Thursday the 13th. It's currently Wednesday. Sorry.
That's not confusing.
Sorry, we're a little bit late.
all.
It'll be out on Friday. Friday the 14th of August. This video I'm currently talking about will be live and kind of cover a lot of the stuff on there. So we're not really going to focus on the fact that Eccleston's coming back on this podcast. We've got a whole episode to talk about.
But that is super exciting.
Oh, You
came pounding down the stairs. I can't remember what I was doing.
You were sat watching Frozen 2.
You just came running down the stairs, and
you were a bit emotional,
doing a little dance.
I came downstairs. You'd just seen. I don't know what part of Frozen 2 you'd seen. No spoilers. But
it was where Olaf had just.
Yeah, and you were on the sofa looking a bit emotional, and I came downstairs. I did a little dance. I was a little bit emotional as well, and I'm like, he's coming back to talk to. And oh god, it's like somebody sent it to me on Discord, this tweet, and it was just like, oh my god. I'm like, it's a Big Finish tweet. There's only one thing that would get somebody to post this in my Doctor Who channel. What's going on here? And then the title of Christopher Eccleston swings round, and I'm like, they did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it.
Heavy breathing. The heavy breathing picture with the cat.
That was
wish
not
all of you could have just seen
not
the
even
face
the heavy
I did there.
You pulled like a proper face there. The heavy breathing face is just like a proper like stare.
Chonky.
A chonky stare.
I don't know what.
You did a chonky.
I did a Peter Pettigrew.
You look like a Slitheen shagged Peter Pettigrew.
Hey, that's me. I don't look like that in normal
Pettigrew
life.
Day Slitheen.
Please,
but yeah, that's happening, and that's really exciting. So the emotion we're gonna have come throughout the sort of course of this episode and into next week is gonna be semi undone by the fact that this is actually happening. But anyway, back to the beginning. Bad Wolf ahead on the 11th of June 2005. I can't remember whether I've already said that. I think I have.
Yes, you have.
Oh well,
but that's okay.
Screw me, I guess. And the episode opens with a.
I'd rather not.
Tell me about it. The episode opens with a quick rundown of The Long Game, episode 7 of the series.
Yes.
And you sort of think, but why? Why are we looking back at the fat thing in the ceiling and Simon Pegg being all hot and things? Actually cold, but also hot. Like, what? What? Why is this important? And lo and behold, the Doctor wakes up in the Big Brother house. And this is the first, instant moment of contention. And I think it was the same with the Next Time trailer as well. The fact that we've got Big Brother, The Weakest Link, and is it What Not to Wear?
It was called, I think it was called What Not to Wear with Trinity.
It is What Not. I've just looked at the Wikipedia page. What Not to Wear. I surprisingly never watched it, and the thing is,
I think I did.
I genuinely can't picture Trinity and Susanna. I'm just looking at their pictures now.
I vaguely can, mousy hair, kind of one's a bit shorter, one's a bit taller.
I mean, I could have gauged that from the robots, but
but
whereas
if I'm thinking of the people I'm thinking of,
Anne Robinson is of course living legend.
Anne Robinson,
you can't have I think it might be part of the British citizenship test. It's who is Anne Robinson? Are you scared of her? And there's 2 tick boxes. One says yes, the other says yes.
Fun little segue. She used to host Test the Nation with, I want to say, Philip Schofield or someone like that. And honestly, Test the Nation was
I thought you were going to say that.
Show.
Was it called It'll Be All Right on the Night, where she would do TV bloopers? That was the most jarring thing I'd see Anne Robinson do, because she sort of appears on the screen looking all casual, and it's it's a trap. She's gonna bite your head off. She's gonna kill you. But no, she just hosted a thing about TV
comedy
bloopers, and it had, I'm pretty certain, a canned laughter audience as well, which made it even more awkward.
Yeah, probably. Now, Test the Nation was great, though, because it was essentially just a giant pub quiz with logic puzzles, and they had the audience segregated into,
not
segregated. Not like that, but,
Jesus.
They had them separated, use the right word, into, their professions.
Right.
So they had teachers, they had builders, they had doctors, they had all this kind of stuff, and then they had over 25s, under 25, this kind of thing. And they had them separated in audience sections, and you could play along at home, and you had to answer all the questions, and then they did it in rounds, and then throughout the process of it, they just showed kind of the statistics on screen for who got the logic puzzles and stuff.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure they eliminated groups of people or something, I'm not sure, but it's a really old show, but it was so good. We used to play it every year when it was on. It was so good.
That's cool.
If anybody remembers that, I'm not making it up.
When you say separating the audience into professions, it reminds me of one of my last days at university when my course leader was right, everyone splits up. I want all of the, because I did a media course, there's like all of the budding directors to go here, all the budding writers to go here, all the budding producers to go here, and everyone else who doesn't know what they want to do, go stand over there. And there's me like, I'm going to go into video editing? Does that apply as not something that I know? Sure.
Apparently not.
But yeah, that was the first big part of contention about this episode, was the whole game show approach, which funnily enough was Russell T Davies' first idea for Doctor Who, something he actually pitched to the BBC back in like 2000, 2001, when the conversation began again leading up to the 40th anniversary in 2003. Yeah. Because that was kind of when he really put his foot on the gas to get this going, and lo and behold, it happened. But that was one of the things he pitched back in the day. And weirdly, that's the thing that like critics and stuff didn't like.
Oh, I loved it.
I loved it. It was kind of like, you know, taking something that we know really well and making it scary. You take any Moffat story, you take statues, you take shadows, you make it scary. Easy peasy. You take something pop culture-y like that, and it kind of makes it scary. I mean, like I said, Anne Robertson's scary enough as it is.
Well, yeah.
Even though I'm pretty certain she's like super sound, like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, I don't think she's super really got a backbone in her body. I think it's just a kind of
when she's in front of you asking you questions, it's all a bit and I always loved that. And in fact, this is something that Dana Lewis has sent a question in, asking about why you think so many people hate the game shows as being part of the episode. And Tony on Twitter actually also plays up into this kind of by saying Bad Wolf was one of their favourite episodes. However, do you think newer and younger watchers will enjoy it even nearly as much due to the reliance on now very dated references, or do you think Doctor Who should use these should Doctor Who use these references or stay timeless?
That's a good question. I personally feel like it doesn't overly matter, because looking at it from a point of view of obviously growing up and watching these shows, I mean, me, my mum and my sister used to watch Big Brother like religiously until it left Channel 4 and then we got bored.
Oh yeah, it moved to Channel 5, didn't it?
But yeah, but when it was in like the height of its prime, obviously, you know, we were really into it, and it was around this sort of time that it was really big, because I remember me and my sister were actually quite young when we were watching it. We must have been probably 8 or 9, because we were in my old house before we moved, so, but like looking at it now as an adult, oh god, that's scary. As an adult, I don't really recall who Trinny and Susanna are, like, even though like I vaguely used to watch What Not to Wear. I wouldn't recall them off the top of my head, but like I don't think it's necessary, because I mean Big Brother is very, very pop culture. Like, yes, it will probably die out eventually, and kids nowadays might not know what Big Brother is and stuff, but I don't think it's necessary, particularly because you get all the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, everything is laid out for you. It's not like you need a
reliance of knowledge of the programs to actually
you don't
allow
need
it to progress.
It's not like you have to have an inherent knowledge of what goes on within these games to understand that if you are eliminated, you are in trouble. Like, that's the basic kind of thing of it. And obviously you see that with, like, it's very well kind of expedited throughout the episode that like tells you kind of everything in there is easily understandable. Like, Linda explains that Linda with an I got kicked out because she damaged property. Like, that's
I think, which I'm pretty certain was the case on the series anyway.
Yeah, it was. The weakest link, you get it explained for you that if you get voted out, you think like, and you have to answer questions. Like, it's not like you need a particular reliance on it. I do understand what you're saying about it, like it's being timeless, because I do think that obviously things that can achieve timelessness do really well, but I think it's part of the charm.
Yeah.
Because this first series of Doctor Who is so dated that as we've kind of, you know, explored with Mickey and his computer and the mobile phones and like
that's more just down to general production at the time. Like,
it is,
whenever anyone pulls out a mobile phone on like any TV series, you know for a fact when about it's set. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it is part of Doctor Who's charm is the fact that they don't worry too much about it being timeless, especially not this first series, because this first series was so key to it coming back in 2005, that they weren't worried about that because they were just trying to get it kind of back off the ground. So I suppose nowadays maybe it would be better for it to be timeless, but they're just kind of carrying on like what they've already got. And I feel like Doctor Who is the sort of thing that is just kind of in the present. So like you don't really have to worry about the timelessness of it to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I feel
the main negative response was actually more towards the Trinity and Susanna robots, because people were kind of like, as much as they could happily get behind the android and the whole Big Brother concept, I think the Trinity and Susanna was a bit of a push. Like, as you said, like I've never watched it, and as I said, I genuinely can't picture Trinity and Susanna, so I just don't know. So that sort of pop culture reference has always been lost on me. But I think for Big Brother and The Weakest Link specifically, as much as The Weakest Link was killed off, I want to say like 2009, 2010. It might be a bit later than that, but it was about that time that I think they ended up ending it, because I'm guessing Anne Robinson couldn't be bothered anymore, because I mean they've been doing it for a long time. Big Brother, like it's just not, like, it's still going. But I mean, this might just be me talking, but much like a lot of reality TV, who cares anymore? A lot of reality TV has gone down the tubes. People prefer to watch Love Island and crap like that.
I mean, I
mean, that is reality TV, really, but it's like that's the only one that people care about. It's like X Factor. Back in 2005, everyone was obsessed with the X Factor. Even I watched the X Factor
Britain's
back then.
Got Talent.
Britain's Got Talent, I watched that as well. Nowadays, you won't see me dead watching it. I think it's all crap. But like, I think Big Brother and...
I think that was why...
Sorry.
No,
after you.
I think that was why Russell T Davies was so keen to do it when like reality TV was
still
like,
had the
at
chance,
its prime. Sorry, you can say what you were going to say now.
Yeah, I think Big Brother and Weakest Link were actually two very, really good shouts, because they would be more timeless. Like, I don't know about the selling of the license, the IP to other countries with The Weakest Link, but I know for Big Brother it was huge. Like, they sold it to everyone. I mean, do you remember? I mean, I have no idea what year this was. This was like, as much of Big Brother I know, it was Jade Goody and Shilpa Shetty.
Yeah, that was in the UK.
That was the UK one, but then Shilpa Shetty went and like hosted the
she went and did like
Boss,
Indian
which was
Big
the
Brother
Indian
or
one,
something like
and
that.
Like every single country on the planet had their own Big Brother. So
they had Australian Big Brother. They
even if you don't know British Big Brother, which you don't need to do, if you exist and you've watched TV between 2000 and 2010, you will have seen Big Brother. So that doesn't really matter. And Weakest Link, you don't really need to know the mechanics of the show. As you've said, you don't need to know any of that. It's just a quiz show. But if you are British, or you know of Anne Robinson and the sheer fear you have on The Weakest Link, that it makes the when they up the stakes even higher with a disintegrator beam, you know how terrifying that must be. Hence why what's her name? I can't remember what her name is. Fitch at the beginning, first one to get evicted. Hence why she breaks down. And it's quite interesting, because like that particular sequence of her crying and Rose like realizing something's up, you don't laugh at her. You don't find Fitch funny, as much as Rose is there killing herself laughing through most of that sequence.
That actually kind of annoyed me. I don't know. Like,
I'd be more frightened. I feel like it's like if you're being pulled onto a game show. It's like if you were in a dream and you got dragged onto a game show out of the blue. Like you were sat having a dump in your dream, as most of us do, and then suddenly some Muppet with a headset on waltzes in and drags you off the toilet. You've still got your trousers around your ankles and you're plonked on a plinth in front of a robot Anne Robinson. You'd be quite literally, even though you've just been doing it, crapping yourself. So, it's not like it's something you'd laugh at, but I think it's kind of interesting to know what on earth is going through Rose's mind. But then obviously that realization that something's up, she just clicks back onto, okay, I need to pay attention here. This is weird. And seeing Fitch so scared, I think as soon as you get to that point, it kind of nails down it sort of pushes away the silliness of it. I think that's, again, Trinity and Susanna, that silliness didn't really go anywhere. The face off and we've got a chainsaw and some claws, and I'm just like, well, they're not going to kill Captain Jack, are they? Duh.
No.
Obviously. Like, it's not like Adam, where they have him in for one episode and then get rid of him. Adam. Don't phone home.
I suppose it's I think the only other way they could have potentially done the Trini and Susanna bot a bit better would be if it had been like Gok Wan or someone. But like because Gok Wan was fairly he was popular back in the day.
Would it be called Botwan?
Well, I was thinking it would be something like Botwan or Gokbot or like
Gokbot.
Something like that. Botwan I quite like.
Botwan.
But yeah, that'd probably be the only way they could actually make it kind of... Because, I mean, Gokwan's still kind of current. I mean,
if you like your annual panto, then yeah.
But, like, do people know who Gokwan is more than Trini and Susanna? I feel like if I say Gokwan, people can picture him more than,
yeah, definitely. Trini, I mean, if it were a big fashion mogul, it'd be, like, Tyra Banks.
Tyra Banks.
Satellite 5's next top model.
British.
No, I know. I mean, Nor's captain. Basically, John Barrowman is Scottish.
John Barrowman is Scottish. Let's just appreciate that for all you folks who didn't know.
Yeah,
he's
Scottish American.
And if you Google John Barrowman Scottish, oh boy, it just makes him like
it's very strange when he talks with his natural accent.
It's very, very, very heavy Scottish.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But it's the fact that Linda with a Y then references like a bunch of other shows they do. She talks about stars in their eyes. And it's like, if you're going to have John Barrowman on your show, do stars in their eyes.
Do stars in their eyes.
Maybe the idea of having somebody be blinded. I mean, obviously we don't know how literally the blinding is in this universe of stars in their eyes. I've always just pictured it as a laser or something.
Me too.
And then like stumble off the stage into what seems to be a big fire pit, but in reality it's just a persistent disintegrator beam. I don't know. But like do something like that, because I feel like stars in their eyes would be a much more recognizable thing. Again, something that was syndicated across a bunch of different networks all across the globe. I'm pretty certain it was.
But then you couldn't have a naked Captain Jack, and to be honest, that's what all anyone is there for, really, isn't it?
He says your viewing figures just went up, and he's not wrong.
Well, I mean...
Can we take a moment, can we have an F in the comments, please, for John Barrowman's bare butt, which was shot and cut.
But got cut.
Because the BBC were like, nope!
They cut the butt.
They cut the butt. 0 out of 10. Worst episode ever. Thank you for listening. Good night. But this leads in quite nicely to a question from Adam Robery, just talking about particular shows and what we'd replace like Trini and Susanna with. He asks, if you had to create a deadly game show for the game station, what would it be?
It'd be...
I'm going to jump in and say, kind of because it was partially referenced in the show that I'm going to mention, or Doctor Who's been mentioned. If you steal my answer, I'm going to say the Digi Daleks at the end of Takeshi's Castle, when they're all shooting each other.
You're not going to say my answer.
Imagine that you've got General Lee, who is just a droid,
Takeshi's Castle,
and you've got the rest of the contestants in these little dinky Daleks, like almost quite literally, and they are shooting each other with disintegrator beams, and it is literally like a battle royale, last one standing.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, you could do that with just all Takeshi's Castle in general, couldn't you? Because like you didn't just have to have the Digi-Daleks at the end; you'd have just the whole show.
True, but I just thought one that would work in the context of we're going to show you
people.
one quick thing and also budget. Like they couldn't do an entire obstacle course unless they just flew John Barrowman out to Argentina and did Total Wipeout.
Well, this is what I was going to say. I was going to say something like Total Wipeout, or like, you know, being a little bit morbid here, but 50-50, because it's kind of like Total Wipeout, not for kids. Like, obviously, that would be a bit awkward if you were pulling kids into a thing like that. But, like, Total Wipeout, probably, and then you just have, like, I don't know, like a pit of doom underneath them, so that when they fall off the big balls, they fall into fire, or, like, just
it's perceived to be fire, and it's actually some kind of transmat
or something like that. I think that's probably what I would do, because I can't really think of anything else where, like, eliminations
What about they did, like, the Krypton factor, but if you get a question wrong or something wrong, you're, like, sat in a little chamber, and the room just gets flooded with Krypton gas. You're like, ugh.
Or what about, like, Crystal Maze, and if you get locked in a room, you get disintegrated.
You get locked in a room, the air gets pulled out, and you suffocate. The Crystal Maze, because you're being dropped into a maze full of sharp shards of crystal.
Wow,
sounds more like a saw trap.
I'm a little bit worried for you, the way you said that with such a straight face.
I'm trying to think of other game shows now I want to see turn into something brutal and horrible. Just Fall Guys. Just sit a bunch of people down, make them play Fall Guys. which is great fun, by the way. I know it's probably everywhere. You're probably listening to this and thinking, oh, for goodness sake, I came in to talk about Doctor Who and not bloody Fall Guys. I played like 4 or 5 hours of it and I still don't have any crowns.
Not the point.
I'm bad at it.
We were talking about naked John Barrowman, so let's get back to that, shall we?
I'm saying Takeshi's Castle. Or at least
I would probably say
the Daleks at the end. The Dinky Dodgems, as Craig Charles would put it. I'm pretty certain he called them Daleks at one point. I'm sure he has. And you would say just total wipeout.
Just something really, really stupid like the Price is Right.
Family Fortunes. Our survey says, and you're dead. I used to watch so much Challenge as a kid.
Oh my god. So Catchphrase would be mint if you get an answer wrong.
If you get an answer wrong, a robotic Mr. Chips comes out and kicks the piss out of you.
Oh my god, Laura, I hope you're not listening to this. My sister's, for fun fact, everybody, my sister Laura is terrified of Mr. Chips.
It's fun. Basically, if your sister went on this catchphrase, but except you die, it'll be like that video of Mr. Blobby coming out and scaring Jack Whitehall on Big Fat Quiz of the Year.
She used to love Mr. Blobby
Mr. Blobby is hysterical. If you watch that thing, if you've never seen this, Big Fat Quiz of the Year, it's kind of like, I guess, the successor to that Anne Robinson thing you were on about.
What a great...
I think Jimmy Carr hosts it.
Yeah, he does.
He talks about how Jack Whitehall hates Mr. Blobby, so they get Mr. Blobby out to deliver some questions, and Jack Whitehall is properly
he's like out
so
of his
uneasy.
Seat.
He's almost like frozen with fear that he's there like
so
these
funny.
Producers are going to get a cease and bloody desist from me because oh my god, why would you do this?
That clip of Mr. Blobby on This Morning where he just runs in and trashes the studio.
That's what makes him so funny on the Big Fat Quiz of the Year, as much as it is funny in itself. Just seeing him when I think he's like right at the end, and Jimmy Carr's like, "Oh, can you go and get the trophy?" And he gets the trophy and he runs straight through the back of the set, like he just plows through it. And you've got the lighting rigs and the stage crew just there, like, okay.
I think we should have Deal or No Deal as a game show where you get eliminated. Because the contestants never leave, do they, until they, like, either decide to leave the show or I mean, obviously they go home in between, but, like, you know how Deal or No Deal works? They have the same contestants just rotated all the way through. So, like, you start with 25 contestants and then one contestant gets picked, gets their chance to win.
Right,
and then
yeah. So imagine if, like, you're the person at the beginning that gets their box picked and you go, oh, no, there's no, I'm not like, my life is now down to 50-50. Like, oh, God. You know what? Actually, Jungle Run. I used to be terrified about the fact that those kids right at the end would get stuck in that big monkey's belly.
In the monkey.
Genuinely terrified.
Or Raven already has
they
like
got the eliminator and literally
bits,
get eliminated. Dude turns up with this big cloak and closes it around you. Bye. Oh my god.
That was a great show.
Get your own back, you fall into acid instead of gunge.
Oh god. Oh.
Again, saw traps.
What about oh my god, what was that show where they had, was it Hole in the Wall? Where you, and if you don't get through the wall, you fall into acid.
You're there, you've been transmatted out of your house. You're there like, oh no, I've been selected to go in the games, and you look up and there's Anton du bloody Beck stood there.
Or Dale Winton as it used to be. I'd
say Anton du Beck's probably the worst of the two. As trying to do his bring on the wall thing.
Bring on the wall! That was... that just reminds me of Harry Hill.
I was about to say, robotic Harry Hill saying, fight! Oh, God. Weird.
Anyway, we've really, really got off topic.
I hope you're enjoying our little nostalgia trip down game show lane.
We are 28 minutes in and all we've talked about is game shows and naked Captain Jack.
It's a good podcast. It's a good podcast. What can I say?
It's very warm in my room now.
I know. Thinking about Captain Jack got me all steamy.
Hot under the collar.
Blimey, where were we? But thank you, Adam, for that question. If you do have any more questions regarding Doctor Who, in fact, come next week. Of course, next week is going to be our last episode of Series 1. So the Parting of the Ways and our series / Doctor rundown, then please do send us your questions either in the comment section below if you're on the YouTube version of this podcast. If you're just listening to this on whatever whatever platform you're on, then please tweet us at WhoCulture using the hashtag escaping Kasterborous. You can see the spelling of it in the title of the video / podcast.
Are we aiming to record this one on Saturday? So you've only got like 2 or 3 days to get questions in. So
yeah, it's a bit soon.
Get cracking.
I might send a cheeky tweet out tonight. Actually, chat.
Yeah.
Chat. Remind me. I'm not on stream.
No, you're not. I am your chat, and I'm
Amy,
not
remind me
you.
to send a tweet out to say get your questions in for the last episode of Series 1. But yeah, so
shall we talk about the episode?
Actually, I was more keen to talk about Get 100, 50-50. What other game shows did you used to watch as a kid?
No. So
Strike It Lucky.
Next part, no. I'm ignoring you now. Shush up. So, where were we? So, Captain Jack, Trinny and Susanna, Rose, Weakest Link, Doctor Who. Doctor in Big Brother. God, I'm losing it. I haven't been able to talk properly.
Right, she's still got Captain Jack on the brain. So do I. So we're just gonna sit here for the next half an hour and go, oh yeah, ooh.
So the Doctor ends up in Big Brother. That's where we were, weren't we? Right at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. I would say by now, right? We talked about Big Brother. We're like the Doctor gets out and so on and so forth. The one thing I've always liked about that particular sequence of the Doctor getting out, when it shows you the transmat beam in the ceiling above him, they have the little metal rods off it, which is like very much a Dalek design. I've always liked that about that little transmat thing. Whether that was a known thing in terms of designing it, I feel like probably yes, because usually when Dalek tech is designed, it's made to look kind of Dalek-y.
I mean, we watched Confidential, didn't we? And Russell T Davies himself said that the way that Trinny and Susanna glide across the floor was meant to be a subtle nod to the way the Daleks glide across the floor. And so, like, users, Jesus Christ, viewers.
You've been watching too much internet.
I have, I think. Viewers were like, it was a very, very subtle, like, oh, they glide like Daleks. Maybe there's Daleks. Oh, do you know what shows that maybe there's Daleks? The next time.
You sound positively salty about it. Actually, do you know what? In regards to whether like the game show is being used, age the episode or not, I actually think when I said about you've been watching too much this, that, and the other, this was obviously a thing to imply TV bad. Watching too much TV is bad.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the Bells of St. John in Series 7, the less we talk about that, the better.
That was the internet bad.
Like, I think that ages this more than Big Brother Weakest Link and Trinny and Susanna. Like, TV's not good for you, makes your eyes go square. Now, TV is seen as a much better alternative to sitting and playing games or being on the interwebs all the time.
I mean, now it's like, if you can't stream something every episode in one go, then what is your life? Do you know, like, you can't sit and watch a TV series that's released week by week. Who does that anymore, lol? Yeah,
it's quite... I'd say I kind of miss it, because obviously we still watch Doctor Who, which obviously is still released week to week. And then even when, as much as I only watched 2 episodes of it because I thought it was crap, the Grand Tour released, they release things weekly. It's like some streaming shows release weekly instead, but the last couple of things that I've watched have all been released on the same day.
I quite like things that are released weekly. It sort of brings back that, like, oh my god, I've actually got to wait for it.
It's like there's nothing stopping yourself and not watching the next episode. But if I'm watching The Witcher and I want to see a bit more of Henry Cavill with his chebs out, I'm gonna watch that.
I mean, who in their right mind watches one episode of something where 12 episodes exist and they go, do you know what, I'm going to stop there and wait a week?
I think you're basically talking about most of the listener base to this podcast who are like,
well, I mean,
now I have to wait for the next episode before I can watch the next episode. I know some people who have gone and like they've watched a couple of episodes and I've gone, I should have done that, and then waited for the podcast to catch up and then they've continued.
I mean, that's their
It's really
choice.
bad because like just as this episode was ending, I was there like, could we just watch
the next one,
please?
I said to you, should we just do 2 parts in one go? And you were like, no.
I thought you meant recording 2 separate podcasts or doing the whole thing in one go. We're gonna do that next series, okay? We have a couple of 2-parters for next series.
We do.
So you're all good on that one. So the Doctor makes it out of the Big Brother house along with Linda with a Y.
Linda with a Y.
Captain Jack makes it out of the Trinity Susanna bot's death den by the compact laser deluxe he had in the places where the sun
In
probably
his
shines
butthole.
because it's probably a very nice butt. I do not know myself. I have not seen it. Maybe that'll be my after podcast research. And Rose, of course, is down to the final 2 with Roderick. As
What a git.
he's a bit of a dickhead, but at the end of the day, you know why? As much as he's an asshole, and we'll talk a little bit about Roderick next week as well. He's being a dick,
fighting for your life, mate.
He's being a dick for the, dare I say it, the right reasons. This is not the situation where you stand there and be like, it's okay, we'll make it out together. It's like, you're thick, I'm keeping you. I'm going to make sure I win. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to win. And he does. Well, he wins.
I mean, he does,
He doesn't survive. But, you know.
Excuse me. What? Spoilers? Was that in this episode? That wasn't in this episode.
Shut up.
Richard!
It's all right. He's only a very brief character, really. But, yeah, he's kind of, apart from Linda, who, Linda is a bit flat in this, and I think that is kind of deliberate, because the Doctor says to her when he's escaping, he's like, you come with me, and he's like, do you think people will vote for Sweet? Like, you're dull as piss. I'm sorry, but you're not meant to be that interesting. And obviously, as soon as she sees this sudden spark of excitement, she's like, can I come with you? Oh, by the way, you're looking pretty tasty. It's kind of like, all right, Martha. Jeez.
Yeah, I did. I was a little, because I turned to you and I went, all right, what's he flirting for?
I know, even the Doctor, I think, I don't know. I think that now the Doctor feels like he's got like this new family of people. Like, that's kind of why I'm excited for the Big Finish stuff as well, depending on when that takes place, to see this Doctor when he's a lot more lonely. Now he's got this family almost. He's got Rose, he's got Jack, he's kind of got Ricky. Now he's at this position where he's like, ooh, a fling. I could do that. We don't know what the Doctor's past is.
He's already having a fling.
Kind of.
I mean...
Kind of. I think he's still kind of convinced that Rose and Mickey were still kind of a thing. I'm not entirely sure. That's a conversation for another time. But
yes.
I like she's a bit flat. And
I quite like her.
No, she's nice. She's flat. She's a good character, and she's kind of enjoyable to have there. She's a nice bit of positivity in a room full of dark blues, and
she's one of the main characters that I always remember. Like,
oh
if
yeah, you don't forget
me, like,
Linda.
Name a character from season 1, I'd be like, Linda with a Y.
It's just that obviously, like, as a character, like, if for example she did go further with the current state she was in, the current position like her character was in, she would need so much like padding.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's because she's only a 2-episode character, so you don't necessarily need her to be...
Exactly.
Like, and to be honest, I mean, have you seen the people that go on Big Brother?
I mean, as the Doctor says, is it really that worth getting your face on the telly? It's like, for some people, yes. Never understood why, but, you know, okay.
Again, TV bad.
TV bad. Reality TV bad. I mean... In my opinion, yeah.
That's not a lie.
We go back to game shows. Dang.
No.
Let's talk about the Floor 500 folks. So we've got Davish. Is it Davish Pavel? I'm looking at the credits
something like
here.
That. The funny bit is that I turned to you, didn't I? Because when the Doctor goes, "Oh, someone's playing the long game," I went, wasn't there an episode called The Long Game? And you were like, yes, the one with Satellite 5. And I was like, oh, yeah.
God, you suck at this. Have you even listened to the podcast?
I mean, no.
I would say Davish. I think it is Davish Pavel, but the credits on here say male programmer. It's like, cool.
Oh,
he literally says his name like 3 times. So you got Davish Pavel, who's kind of there. He's a good bit of like comic relief. He's the sort of... He's the man on the inside, the whole, I know there's something wrong, and when the Doctor, like, throws him his gun, and he's like, can I put this down? It's like, there's this really lighthearted funniness of it.
He's like, but I'm holding your gun.
And then you've got Elaine the Pain from Tracy Beaker playing the female program.
Tracy Beaker?
Tracy Beaker. I'm sorry, I realised I did sound like a P. Tracy Beaker. Tracy Beaker.
Tracy Beaker. Oh, anyway, we're not talking about TV anymore. We're talking... Well, we are.
We're dipping back into CBBC territory here, folks.
But But anyway, yeah, Elaine the Pain, whose name I don't
think you hear her name. I think.
Oh no, I meant her actress.
She's called Nisha Naya. Or
right.
Nisha Naya.
She's been a lot of things.
She's done a lot of stuff, yeah, but most people, especially the Brits, people of our kind of age will know her as Elaine the Pain from Tracy Beaker. Mm-hmm. And she plays this female programmer that Davish is like completely head over heels for. And funnily enough, there's that point when they're kind of flirting. It's weird because like he's talking about the controller, the woman who's been all wired in, and she whispers in his ears like, I don't think she's been human for years. What did you say?
I turned around to you and I went, it's funny because in that one little scene, because what is it, maybe like not even 30 seconds of a scene that they have together where they're standing and they're like, oh, maybe I could get you to come with me, blah, blah, blah. I said that there was more chemistry and they made me care more about them two as a couple in that 30 seconds than Benny and his wife Wilma in the entirety of Orphan 55.
And the thing is, you're dead right. You genuinely do care for them more. And, exciting to see what happens with the pair in the next episode. But, yeah, you genuinely do. You see this, like, workplace chemistry. It's kind of like what I have with Osley at What Culture.
Yes.
Like, we have that, there is that sort of, but...
It's guy love.
Yeah. Should you doink somebody you work with?
What?
It depends whether the controller or the Bad Wolf Corporation allows for workplace relationships.
I mean, if you want to doink Osley, you go on ahead.
It's the biggest question on everyone's lips when it comes to Doctor Who. Can the employees of the Bad Wolf Corporation boink? So, what?
What?
Lunch, dinner, egg, workplace boink. That's on the back of the shirt.
No.
And then we have the controller. This weird woman who's been strung in since she was 5 years old, and she's a bit strange. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that in the lighting that she has, she looks really young.
Yeah, and then when she gets like thingied onto the Dalek ship, she just kind of looks like...
Oh my god, she's been transmatted and aged 30 years.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of just...
It did look a little bit like that.
Yeah, again, it's just the lighting. And I think it's down. Just makes me think of kind of like how my webcam is right now when people or girls would overexpose their pictures to make their skin look clearer.
Yeah.
That's why you can only just about see my forehead wrinkles. Anyway, like I love the Floor 500 crew because they sound it seems like such a dastardly corporation. You've got the Doctor saying something else is going on here, something else is being broadcast, blah 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 blah, and in reality, you've just got these normal people, apart from the security guards who are a bunch of bumholes. But, I mean, they're probably they're the only people with guns on the ship. They're going to be trouncing about pretending they're all that. So, of course they will. And they're just like a bunch of normal people. And that's what I love about Davish as well, and about how they kind of go, right, okay, yep, something has gone on here. Okay, we're not okay with this. Let's actually sort this out and find out what it is. And obviously that thing we find out, it's the Diddly Daleks.
No, what a shock.
Oh no, we didn't know.
I'm so surprised. Oh no.
As I said last week, I wish I wasn't so excited about that next time because I just watched it over and over and over and over and over again for a week. Genuinely, just I think it must have been the longest week of my damn life waiting for this episode because I knew the Daleks were coming back.
March 2020, that was like the longest week of my damn life.
Mate, 2020 has been the longest week of my damn life.
Nah, the rest of 2020's gone well quick. Literally just March was like
actually, yeah, do you know what?
On its own.
Do you know what? March was a bit of a slog because for the first 20 days of March, I was sat here buzzing about Doom Eternal and Half-Life Alex. And in that lead up to anything like that, a lead up to a game coming out, a film releasing, or like your birthday or Christmas, you're getting a parcel delivered or something, and everything just drags. Lockdown kicks in, and then it's like 3 days later,
and then it drags
I've got Doom. More. I'm all good for a bit, and then, yeah. But anyway. Daleks turn up.
Longest week of your damn life.
Longest week of my damn life waiting for this episode to come up, and then the Daleks arrive. And as I've already said, the teases they had towards the Daleks appearing were so good in that episode. Why ruin it?
Why do they have
As I said,
it? Yeah.
My masters, they fear the Doctor. Tell me, who are they credits?
Yeah, literally.
All that does is imply that maybe whoever is, like, here, it's a callback to an enemy we already know. Similar to, kind of like Tim Shaw in Series 11, as much as that was pretty crap overall. It's calling back another enemy. We've had the Slitheen come back. Surely somebody else could come back. Maybe it's Cassandra, or maybe that's later. We just
spoilers.
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
I don't think it's such a bad thing that they showed them.
Like I said,
episode.
In the episode, no. It made perfect sense.
Oh, you're just talking about the next time.
Yeah, because as we discussed last week, like it made sense to show me the next time to keep people in for the finale, because it's like we need to make sure people are here. I'm pretty certain I said this last time as well. The ratings for series 12, as much as the series was more solid throughout, bar the end, the ratings just went down and down and down and down and down and down.
Yeah.
So they're gonna, especially with series 1, they need to make sure everything sticks. So the BBC commissioned it for a second series, which I think they'd already done anyway. They needed to make sure that they had the viewers in for it.
You could have done that though. Like, I think if you just sort of left the mystery, you could have hooked the viewers in. Like, by this point, if anybody's watching it, they're gonna stick around for the finale.
If they've made it to episode 12. Or episode 11, sorry.
Episode 11, they're going to stick around and watch episodes 12 and 13,
well,
really. And if you've got that mystery of like, oh my God, who's it going to be? What's the monster of the week? Then I feel like people are going to more so watch it. I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't speak for the general population.
We can't really speak for when we watched this back in the day. Like, do you remember watching this episode before?
I don't know. I don't know whether I remember watching this like the first time or whether my rewatches have kind of just built on that experience, because like I've rewatched Doctor Who probably about 4 or 5 times since like its original release. So I feel like if I did remember at one point, I probably don't anymore. I think I do remember being like especially kind of shocked and like my mind being blown by the Bad Wolf stuff, but that's, I mean, apart from like the general kind of overview of like the episode, like the game shows and how Captain Jack escapes while naked and stuff, like apart from that I don't really remember I think how I felt about it. I just remember kind of being like, oh my God, Bad Wolf, and that being kind of like my reaction to it. I'm not very good with like remembering what I was thinking when I was 10 years old.
It's true. I mean, like I said, I think I just watched this knowing that at some point there were going to be Daleks. And like, I think that moment when they say Rose is still alive, it cuts back to her and then you see through the Dalek's eye stalk. I must have just jumped around, like properly jumped around at this point.
Yeah.
Like, so excited to see more Daleks, because they're kind of like we said before, it's something that scared me. I wasn't obsessed with it, and Daleks were one of those things that I just became obsessed with them. It's same with kids back in the 60s when Dalek Mania was a thing. They were terrified of them, which meant they couldn't get enough of it. So I was just, I was a pig in poop, as it were, when the Daleks came back on screen for the end of the series, and that led me going into the next episode really excited, and seeing the stakes raised again, like when the Doctor makes that realization that the Daleks are back again, like as far as he was aware, this was he'd won. As he said at the end of episode 6, I win, and that's it. And seeing those ships again, he has that initial shock, that concern, that dread, and then when the Daleks come up on screen, and then they say, we will speak only to the Doctor. He goes, oh, hello. And like, again, he's back to his whole, I forget. Yeah, I've defeated you so many times. I'm going to do it again. And he, it goes from that sort of jolly Doctor, and he instantly snaps back into that angry, duologuing Doctor we saw in Dalek in episode 6.
But you even see him like smiling, kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, how do you say it?
Is he grimacing?
Sycophantically or
psychotically?
Sycophantically, if I think the word.
What?
It basically means, sycophantically is kind of, I think that's how you pronounce it. Basically is like psychotic, but like, it's kind of like you
Do you mean psychophonatically?
No, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced sycophantically.
Is that pronounced? Is that Psy?
I presume so.
Sycophant. That's with an S.
Yeah. I think it's pronounced sycophantically.
This definition I've been given has given me an even more confusing word. What the earth is that?
But in any case...
I don't know whether that's the right word you're thinking of.
Okay.
But anyway.
Well, not the point. Basically, he looks kind of deranged in the fact that he's like...
I mean, he would be.
I mean, yeah, but like what I'm saying is the way Eccleston plays it is really, really like impressive, because you get that kind of one side of him that's like genuinely angry and like really kind of like, no, I'm gonna kill you. Like, it's too late. I'm gonna kill you. But then you get the other side that he's just like so kind of
unhinged.
Yeah, and like he just can't believe that the Daleks are back, so he just kind of takes this like horrific... His face is really contorted when he's doing it, because he's like trying to smile and sort of be like confident, but then at the same time he's also
he's absolutely
he's angry,
fizzing with rage. The fact that they're back again, like, yeah, he thought he could be finally at peace. And to be honest, as much like the whole Time War stuff kind of dies down really after Dalek. You don't really realise that. The whole conversation about it all kind of goes, because as far as he was aware, it was only to bring it up again. He'd won. That was it.
I mean, I suppose it's kind of been explored up to this point. The other thing I wanted to talk about in this episode, which I've only just remembered, is that whole sequence between when Rose is, like, when they break into the android set and when they are in the cage and they go, let's do this, or let's do this now, or something, whatever
let's do it.
Say.
Yeah.
That whole scene between when Rose gets disintegrated and the bit where they think Eccleston doesn't say a word, and yet the acting is so fantastic, because you obviously got Captain Jack in the background that's like, you killed her, you're a stupid gangster, you killed her, which is the reaction you expect the Doctor to have, but he's just so like, oh my god,
I think he's calculating it. I think he's trying to
I don't even know whether that's it, because I think in his brain he genuinely believes that Rose is gone.
Yeah,
so like,
I mean, I don't mean necessarily that he's calculating the fact that she's gone. I think he's then calculating his next step to get revenge. Maybe his Doctor, because obviously we know so much about Eccleston, but we maybe don't know exactly how he would always tick with certain things. Maybe because of what he thinks he did in the Time War, maybe come this point, he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm not going to be Mr. Nice Guy anymore. I am going to burn something. I'm going to shoot someone. I mean... And it almost does feel like he gets to that point. As you say, like he says so little in the process between... I don't even know whether it would have been a case of... like him having to sort of quietly convene with Jack about what they're going to do when he says, let's do it. I think Jack and him are just... They're on the same wavelength. They know exactly what they need to do.
I mean, I sort of took it as like he's in the first bit, because I mean, when the soldier's shouting at him like, you're under arrest for this, that and the other, he's just so kind of that. I mean, that whole scene is great, because the way they do the audio is like they just kind of play the music over and they fade the soldier out in the background, and you just get this such a tight shot of Eccleston's face that just literally is just kind of like grief stricken of him just be staring dead into space. As I say,
in reference to what you said last week, I'm pretty certain his eyes are dead fixed this time.
Yeah, literally.
He's completely still. Like he's... I don't even know whether he could even nail down an emotion. I think he's overcome with one of everything.
He's just dead.
Yeah.
Like, he's just kind of dead, and I think that plays it so well, because like he doesn't even know how to react, and then you get to that sequence in the jail cell, which I love, where they're taking the photos of him, and he's just kind of like, the lighting is incredible because it's so dark on like the bottom section of his face that you can only see like a very slight section that's not kind of like blacked out, apart from obviously when he turns, but like it's so smooth.
Even in that last section when you said about the guard over his shoulder, even that you see half of his face.
Mm-hmm.
Like
but yeah,
again, playing out the whole media student in us. Just like it's like representing the heart. Like almost half of him is gone now. He's like maybe as I said about him, maybe thinking, you know what, screw it, let's just go kill someone. That's that half of him gone. That was taken away when Rose went, and that's it. He's gonna go all out. You can take the whole very darker, duller palette of everything. You know, Captain Jack's set was very bright. The Doctor's set was very bright. Rose's was very dark. Maybe that even foreshadows the fact that Rose isn't going to get out of here. The other two seem to be okay because they don't see, as much as they are still in peril, the whole atmosphere of the space they're in doesn't say, watch out, this person's going to die.
But like, also, I think one of the things that really hits home how kind of impactful they wanted that single line to be, where the Doctor says, let's do this. He doesn't even flinch when the guard grabs Linda round the face to say, like, I'm talking to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything. He doesn't move. He doesn't look in any other kind of direction. It's almost like he doesn't really care, because it's like, I can't believe I was thinking of taking you with me and I've just lost Rose.
I think he's just dead focused on what he feels like he needs to do, which is get to floor 500 and get revenge on whoever or whatever has killed Rose. So, it's one of the things that makes Eccleston such an amazing Doctor, the way that he can seem to portray so much by doing so little.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why we love him so much, and one of the reasons why it's so exciting to have him back with Big Finish. Like, it's ridiculous.
I'm hoping it's going to be really, really good. Like, I don't really listen to the Big Finish stuff.
No, nor do I. I've listened to brief bits of Big Finish in the past. I listened to I need to see if I can dig it out. I think I remember what it's called. I remember getting, I think it must have been a Big Finished story free with Doctor Who magazine, like forever ago. Yeah, it was called The Veiled Leopard. And it had Nicola Bryant and Sophie Aldred in it. There was no Doctor in there. Or it might have been a change of it, because there seems to be a version with the Fifth Doctor in it, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I got a copy of that with, it must have been a Doctor Who magazine. And I remember listening to that. And I did quite enjoy it. I just never got into listening to Big Finish. I think there's a part of me that's kind of worried about the fact that there's so much Big Finish now as to where I'm supposed to begin.
Yeah.
But I think that's why with the Ninth Doctor, I can just go, yep, we're going to go with Ninth Doctor. We're just going to focus on him. Because as much as I can appreciate why it's so good, and apparently it is really good. Like I mean, we've said like Jubilee was a Sixth Doctor Big Finish story back in 2003, and that became Dalek in 2005. And the characterizations have continued on. Colin Baker eventually got his full like regeneration build-up done through Big Finish instead of the way that it went in the series, because of Michael Grade and
what's his face,
all this stuff going on with BBC at the time. Like, he got that back.
Yeah.
And we get to see like David Tennant and Tom Baker are doing a Big Finish thing together very soon, or it's already out. I don't know. I've seen it all over the place. Like, I am super excited to delve into Big Finish, and I'm gonna buy CDs for the first time.
Oh my God. You're going to buy an outdated physical media? What?
I'm only buying the physical ones so I have them physically. It's like me buying these new Doctor Who Blu-rays. Like, literally the newest one turned up on Monday for Series 6.
But how are you going to listen to them? You don't have a CD player.
Well, I can use my USB CD player and rip them to my iTunes and put them on my phone or something.
God, you're such a pathetic.
Or I can put them in my PlayStation. If the PlayStation can play audio CDs.
I'm not sure it can.
I think it couldn't originally. But they had to add it in as an update because everyone used to do it with the PS2s.
Oh. You could play audio CDs on PS2?
It can't.
I didn't think it could.
It can't play CDs. Sony.
Lol.
Please fix this with the PlayStation 5. Actually, I can play it on my 360.
Oh, joy.
Or we can, you know what, we'll go full old school. We're going to play it on the PS2.
I'm not sure my PS2 would handle that.
I'm sure it would.
I don't know.
I mean, what was the last CD you bought? Do you even know? Because I still have a couple of CDs on my shelf, but I can't think of what the most recent of them would have been.
I think the last CD I bought was the signed edition of A Great Big World's first album.
That's understandable.
That was probably the last CD I bought, but I don't think I've actually listened to it.
I think mine actually might be Packy Lundholm's album, American Soccer. I think I got that. I know I got Now Is the Time, his EP, as an LP and a disc, and I think I got American Soccer as a disc as well.
I'm just looking at my bookshelf, seeing if there's any CDs on there. But I think the last CD I was bought was Elaine Page's the musicals collection. But it's not. Yes, it was. But it's not. It's not like just Elaine Page songs. Thank God. It's just like a BBC radio.
She's done a collection and she's curated it. Yeah. Trust me, I think if it were just Elaine Page songs, I don't think my mum would have bought it for you.
No, I'd have shot myself.
Because I don't think anyone would want to listen to that. But anyway,
yeah,
that's kind of wraps it up for this episode.
I mean, we haven't really talked much about the
thing is, like, so much of that, like that episode, I think one of the reasons why it gets sort of negatively reviewed. In fact, Esme Star asks, why do you think this episode received the lowest ratings of the series? That's kind of the last question.
Was it the lowest rated of the series?
I don't know. It might be down to... I've not looked at like specific numerical ratings, but...
Probably because
we kind of explored the fact that, the whole game show approach, the Trini and Susanna stuff was the main thing that was kind of criticised. The twist apparently was amazing. I got the biggest thumbs up as I'm like...
Twist?
Did you watch the next time? There's no twist there, because we knew it was coming.
What twist?
Unless you didn't watch the next times. Maybe the critics at the time didn't watch the next times, understandably, which technically I should probably do for Doctor Who when it comes to ups and downs, but you're not going to stop me. I get too excited about these things. But I think, I've never seen it as a weak episode. I've never seen it alongside the Slitheen episodes, really, because they're kind of considered the weakest of this series.
Yeah, I do think it's quite a strong episode when you couple it into its like part of the finale. But
if you did it as a standalone, the tone changes so much. Like, as much as
I don't know though, I still quite enjoyed it. Like, I think even as a standalone episode, it would be quite fun.
I say this enough. I love series 1, end of story, so I won't criticize. But no, I think Bad Wolf is great. I think it is an interesting concept. It's kind of good they've never really tried to do something along those kind of lines again with the whole TV game show approach to.
I think it's a really good like kind of second parter almost. If you look at like the long game as like the first part,
because it kind of is. It was a much more sort of clever way to establish it into sort of IRL continuity of we need to use the same sets again. Similar to how Boomtown was the cheapest episode made because it was just like, screw it, we'll film it in Cardiff. Mm-hmm. And that episode has so much more going for it, you kind of forget that you're in Cardiff.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of the same for this. Yes, it's the same sets. Yes, it's a familiar location, but it all works in canonically because the Doctor created this world.
Yes. I don't know. I don't know why it was like... if it was the worst rated of the series, which I'm not sure it was. But
I wouldn't say it's the worst. I think that's something we're going to get to next week. I think that's something I need to add on to this little tweet thing.
Have a look.
I'm just going to write this on my little notepad thing I've got open with all the questions on it. I'm just going to write tweet on it so I can make sure to remember this tweet. I want to get your guys' rankings of the episodes for next week as well, because I think we're going to sit and we're going to rank them.
We'll rank the episodes in terms of like which one we liked best.
Worst to best. We'll probably put the two-parters together.
Yes,
so Aliens of London, World War 3, Empty Child, Doctor Dances.
We'll vote on the stories, not the episodes.
Yeah, the stories, or the serials as they're usually known.
Because I don't want to be like, the first part of the Empty Child, Doctor Dances was pretty good, but the second part was crap. Like, no, we're just doing the story as a whole.
So alongside any questions you might have about the Parting of the Ways and or the series or opinions or whatever, because it's going to be the big Roundup podcast next week, please let us know either in the comments below if you're on the YouTube version, or if you're listening to us on whatever podcast app platform you use, then you can tweet us at Who Culture using the hashtag escaping Kasterborous. So that is episode 12, Bad Wolf, the Bad Wolf Corporation. Did you spot where it said Bad Wolf? Plot twist. It was everywhere.
All the time.
I'm excited for next week to just, I don't know, cry, I guess. But then remember that Eccleston's coming back. And in fact, after having a quick trawl through the comments of the last podcast just to make sure I got all the questions, Danny Megan, who is one of the writers and editors for Who Culture, does a fantastic job. Danny, if you're listening, you're amazing.
Props to your comment, dude.
Absolutely love your edits. They're so funny. Danny commented on the Boomtown episode saying, love this TARDIS crew. Shame we never got more time with them. Big Finish, save us. And then literally like 22 hours ago put, oh, this can't age well. And it's like, can you imagine doing that? Like literally posting that maybe a couple of days before Big Finish 2 and I go, by the way, who wants more Eccleston with maybe more Billy Piper and John Barrowman thrown into? Because why not? Please.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's going to be so good. But we hope you've enjoyed listening to us ramble on about things that generally haven't really been Bad Wolf. They've still kind of been relevant. Like we talked about game shows and stuff.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all right. And tell us, what's your favourite game show from when you were a kid?
Yeah.
For me,
that'll tell us everybody's ages.
I used to watch a lot of Family Fortunes with my nan. I think I might have to go for that. For sentimental reasons. Family Fortunes. With Les Dennis.
I think.
Lived on challenge, as I've already said.
I think, yeah, probably one of my favourite game shows was probably Catchphrase. I think.
We'll have to find a website that does a plushie Mr. Chips to get your sister.
No, because she would
in the same way that I got you a Five Nights 2 Chica pop vinyl, we're going to get your sister a Mr. Chips.
She's not so scared of it now. Like, she used to be a lot worse, but I think if she had a Mr. Chips plushie, she'd
modify it and
not
put some like red LED eyes.
Let's not do that, so because I think she's in bed, she'd hit you. Like,
she wakes up in the middle of the night and there's Mr. Chips at the other end of her room, like
nah,
T-posing to assert dominance.
She used to be so scared of stuff that like she didn't know what was going to happen. She wouldn't even walk past my room when I had like scary stuff in my room. So. Oh, wow. Okay. I would not do that.
Moving swiftly on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I'll probably have a bit more of a bit of a spill, a bit of a melting heart. What's the word? Gush. Bleeding heart. Bit of a gush. That's the word. The gush. Next week regarding this series. But thank you all so much for all of your comments and questions, and just all the support the podcast has had. Again, we'll do a proper gush next week, but that will be for the parting of the ways, Christopher Eccleston's last. For now, episode of Doctor Who. Until we see you again, my name is Rich. You can follow me on Twitter at PickUpChangeToe.
And my name is Amy, and you can follow me on Instagram at Ames_Elizabeth, because I really don't use Twitter.
There you go then.
And if you want to follow my baking account, follow Amy Cakes Baking.
Oh, there it is. It's taken 12 episodes. And there's the plug. Thank you all very much for listening. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.